partner in crime was probably 10. And we were in Robova, a small village, surrounded by the population, which was largely involved in trade, um, trading small agricultural products in the famous trading center called Mushkuyu. And at home, we were living with our mom and my other brothers. They are, I think, all connected on this call. We are lucky. Except Samson was not yet born. And life was a bit easy, light, but challenging in the sense that the current tools like TVs, like phones, were not there. So we always created our own ways of engagement, especially when it came to free time. And that's how we managed to also take strolls to the trading center and we saw what we saw. So that's how I can recollect that time. Maybe just to add that those who were not yet born, 1978 was the period when Idi Amin was in control, and there was a lot of magendo going on. Magendo means illegal cross-border trade. So people used to walk from our home there to Malaba or Kenya border with the merchandise, and they'll come back also with merchandise. So that's what I can recollect.
I'm sorry. Okay. So if you don't mind me asking, okay, you said that you were about 10 years old, right?
Yes.
That's a very young age. So what were your dreams at that age? Because I don't think there are any members in this group who are 10 years old. We all prefer to be older than 10. So what were your dreams at the age of 10? Did you have anything that you saw yourself doing in the future or any ambitions?
No, I think at that age, our dreams or my dreams were really small and probably more immediate. One that comes to my mind was to have some bit of coins in my pocket and also show around that I have money. So any opportunity that would come raise that would enable me get some coins, that would be taken up. The other one is to be able to buy what I want without really consulting anybody. I remember, when we were in school, you see boys buying some eats and you admire and say, oh, I wish I had also money to buy stuff. The other dream, which again comes to my mind, is playing with our counterparts without really any restrictions, because we wanted that level of freedom to play with the peers. But again, at home, mommy had the order and had a bit of tightness in terms of our discipline. So we occasionally couldn't have that freedom. So in my small world then, those were my dreams. But now when I look back, I think I imagine that those were my dreams because my world was that size. But if you ask me what are my dreams now, I would give you a different perspective. For example, I would say, really, I would like to be a person of character. I want to be a person of discipline, values, high values, and probably be able to be impactful to the people around me. That is my dream. That's my goal that drives me.
Yeah, lovely dreams right now because you've matured as a person. You at a young age, you didn't have this much knowledge or you didn't have this much experience. So hopefully the members available can gain from this experience that you've just shared. But now drawing back to the main story of this podcast, it's about you starting a business at a young age. So, and this is a sugarcane business. It's not something it's something that you thought would be profitable. So if you don't mind, what made you and Uncle Isaiah even think about doing this business at such a young age? This is 10 years old.
Yeah, as I already said, we used to pass our mornings and evenings at the trading center, and you'd see trade going on, various merchandise, matoke, roasted the granuts, generally things that were for eating. And one of the items was sugarcane. And the people who were involved in that trade were people of our age, and they looked successful because they were touching money, something that used to dream about. So when we looked at that, we thought that maybe since we are these same guys whom we play with are trading in sugarcane, we can also succeed in this similar trade. So we try to do what a modern man now can say, a market analysis. We ask them, oh, how do you get the stock? What's involved? And they took us through the process, said, okay, if you don't have money, you can be innovative and find other ways with the farmer. The farmers are not far away from here. And they assured us that they are making money. So we got interested. I must say the driving force was largely Isaiah, who was was a little older than me, and if you know us well, we were like twins. So we decided quietly, without consulting anybody, that we can also start this business. So that's how we got into sugarcane. Our interpretation then was low risk because it's a question of bringing the stock and selling it to those who are probably traveling or the locals who are in the trading center. We didn't see any risk, and also in terms of capital, we thought really we can find other means, even if we didn't have money, since the young boys who are already trading are saying there are options that are available. So in our small analysis, we thought we could get it.
Okay, random question based on what you've just said. You say you didn't have capital, right? So capital, is it just money, or is there more to it when you say the word capital? Is it time? Is it things? Okay, capital, from what I understand in my course, is something you can deploy in a business or deploy in a venture that you're going into to get it running. So what does capital mean to you at this age, if you want to describe it?
At this age, you are very right. I think my interpretation of capital is it's wide. It's not only money. It is about the relationships, networks you have, the skills you have, the labor you have, the energy you have. All these put together constitute your capital. But there's always a misinterpretation when I engage with people who want to do something. They always say, "Oh, I don't have capital. I can't do it." But if they had this wider understanding of what capital is, then certainly they can do something, however small it is, but they can get started, and then the more resources can then be mobilized and directed towards what you are doing and achieve growth. But if we all think that to start something profitable to do requires cash, then we get that limitation, and probably we always don't get started. So at that age, I think that concept came out quite clearly because we didn't have cash, but because of our network with these boys who were already doing the trade, they told us that, look, if you go to the farmer and you say you don't have money, but you can dig the garden, weed the sugarcane plantation, you'll be able to exchange your labor for stock, and then you can come and sell. So already we did appreciate that cash was not the only tool that we could use to acquire trading stock. So that was really a revelation that I picked from that story that we are now discussing.
So that last point is quite important that you just said. You said it was a tool. So capital, in a broad sense, is not just material money, something that you can buy and whatever. You offered labor for a good, so it's exchanging something. That's another form of capital, according to what you just said. Is that correct?
Yes, perfect. That's what it is. And I think for the young visionaries connected, they should take this more seriously because even relating with people and engaging, you are building your capital and sharpening your knowledge, acquiring knowledge is part of your capital. So we should be looking at capital in a wider perspective, and once you do that, then you open up a lot of opportunities that you can be able to engage yourself in, and in the process, you find you have a thriving business running.
And you want a thriving business, right? You want to gain something from it because you go into a business hoping to either make money from it, expand something in general. So I hopefully all the members present have seen the story, but I've read the story and I love the story. But in the story, you mentioned that when you came back home, you found that this sugarcane that you use your time and labor for to acquire was now cut into pieces. How did that make you feel? Because that's your labor, that's your capital, that's now gone. There's something that you wanted to gain value from, right? So how did that make you feel?
To say the least, I think we were shocked. We felt pain. But let me just put the perspective on this question. So when we went to that Saturday, when we went to the farmer's garden and we offered our labor, we were given a batch of sugar canes. And we trekked back. We left home without informing mommy where we are going, because they had also left very early going to the garden with the big boys, Patrick and Joel. So we were left home. We were supposed to clean the house. There's a routine that we are given as the younger people in the home, cleaning the house, ensuring that the goods are taken to the are tied to eat, to feed. And then we were also supposed to prepare some breakfast for those who are going to the garden to eat. Unfortunately, our situation was that maybe we rushed to the sugarcane plantation, we come back quickly and fix our routine. Unfortunately, we did not achieve that. By the time we came back, mommy they had already returned from the garden. And she was very, very angry with us because nothing was set up as per the schedule. And now she didn't even know where we were. So she was quite angry. But when we showed up with our merchandise on our heads, she looked at us and we would see visibly that she was angry. But being a mother, she saw that actually we were very hungry as well. So she told us that she had breakfast ready and we could at least freshen up and have it. So when we went to the shower, this makeshift showers in the villages, mommy, I don't know what was in her mind, she went ahead and cut the sugarcane into very, very small pieces in the joints. So
this is your capital that she cut out.
The capital, she cut it down. So when we came out of the shower, we looked at the staff, we knew now the whole thing is dead, because you cannot sell, you cannot price that type of product in the market. And in any case, we saw the big boys were already snacking on our stock, So we were very upset, in pain, and we thought that was unfair. I mean, we walked 10 kilometers almost to bring this product. And we thought we had identified a good business. And honestly, we had offered labor for it. So why a loving mother, why destroy our our enterprise? At that time, we really saw loss, and we were really crestfallen. But again, I'm underlining the discipline side of it. We did not ask many questions. She was in charge, and we thought probably she knew what she was doing. So she asked us to join the party and eat the sugarcane. So, I mean, we had no option, and we joined. we ate the
She
sugarcane,
cut.
and that was, yes, fine.
She cut your capital. Then you just had to. That discipline point again. You just had to accept it, and you ate your capital. This is something that you wanted to make money from, right? But you discipline
Yeah, I
again
mean,
because you mother, isn't it? You have to listen. You can't exactly now go and complain and say, "Why did you do this?" You just right.
yeah, we just chilled, and of course, when you are young, the anger goes so
Mm-hmm.
quickly. So we joined the party and ate the sugarcane. So in the current modern knowledge I have is capital. If you consume it, you have no business. So in that case, our capital was consumed, and we were not able to go to the market. Therefore, we could not get any revenue. We did not get profits, and we didn't have anything else to do. And by the way, Mommy issued an ultimatum. I said she didn't want us to. She didn't want to see us again going to
Oh,
do this type of. Yeah, she was quite
she
firm
didn't
on
want to
that.
start a business again at that age. Why? What, did she know something that you didn't know at that time, or because that's a very strong statement to say, "Don't do this again." Is there a reason that you can think of?
I think it's after quite some time in my life that I realized that she was right, because what happened to the boys that we went with who continued in the business really informed that my understanding, because eventually they dropped out of school because they were making money, and they didn't see the usefulness of staying in school. I think to them, school
Mm-hmm.
became a punishment or something that is hindering them from making more money. And by the way, as I've said, this was the time of Idi Amin, and the education at that time was more or less equated to nothing. You won't succeed in life just because you went to school. Life was success was largely in trade, petty trade, magendo business, and all that. Those were the bourgeoisies. Those the people who would see and admire. People with the money were those who were involved in trade. So for us, Mami was very clear. She said she didn't want us to be involved in that type of trade, and she used a very profound word that I wish I could put in Bugisu. She said, "Mukana honeha," meaning that you want to get spoiled, you want to become a baya ye. She
Right.
won't.
Mhm.
So
That's
that's
exactly what
how.
she said.
Yeah,
That's how she put it.
she put
Really?
it that way. And we were having dinner. I remember very well. We were having dinner seated around the food, and she said she issued that clearance that, look, if you start doing this type of thing, you'll get used to money, and in no time, and unconsciously, you'll drop out of school, and she would like to see her children mastering the trade in that type of trade without capacity, without having anything that can sustain that trade. And she was right, because when I look back, those who
Mm-hmm.
continue, yes, get into bigger business of now Magendo going across the border, but when the policies were streamlined, that Magendo never now made sense, and they collapsed. Now they didn't have an education to fall back to, and the business they were
Oh,
doing had, and that was the end of their world.
so she cut. They didn't really go further because she told you to focus on your education. You ended this idea of going into this business. They continued it. They didn't really go that far. You maintained your education. You're now with this position that you're in right now. So now, if you don't mind me asking, so for the people in the visionaries group, okay, what should they do when it doesn't have to be their mother or their father or their parents? Well, what should they do if life cuts their sugarcane, destroys their capital? Do you have any advice for?
Sorry, come again. Sorry, I didn't get my
Yeah, the
what.
question is, what should the people and the visionaries do if life destroys their capital, if it cuts their sugarcane, or if
Ah,
what they've tried? Yeah.
I think first of all, life is full of this type of thing where you want to do something or you have said something and it gets crushed. It fails. You initially feel disappointed, but as they say in English, look for the silver lining around the problem. I mean, i- beyond being disappointed, you should be able to ask yourself, what lesson am I picking from this? What didn't I do it? What went wrong? Learn from the mistake, and then pick up yourself and launch again. That's the life. There is no straight path that doesn't have those bumps. But the difference between those who succeed and those who fail is uh, this ability to learn from what has happened, dust yourself, and get moving again. So for us, we lost the business, we lost the sugarcane, the product, but our getting up was now to focus on education because that's what Mami directed us to focus on. First, get the education, the businesses will follow. And time has proven that right.
Even though you did make money from this business, sadly, right? They didn't. You kind of had to eat your product at the end of the day. But did you learn something from the experience about money in general and the mindset that you should have?
Trevor, now.
It's an important question. What did you learn about money or on the mindset that you? Is there something you can
Yeah,
share?
I think
Mm-hmm.
a number of lessons really. First of all, the general understanding that money is a tool. Okay, it shouldn't really dictate your life, or you shouldn't pursue money for the sake of it. Because for us, we didn't. Money made us not pursue money at that time, but we pursued more sustainable things in life, which were buttressed in the education that we acquired, and now we are able to make the money. We are able to set up our own small businesses. We are able to manage it better, the money, and I mean, let me put it this way: if if the young person gets money now, let's assume we are having a person like these young ones. Huh? I mean, they may
I'm
start
young, but
feeling
if I
like,
get money now,
yeah, no, for you at least you
yeah,
may. I think you are studying finance. I expect you to be at least more mature in terms of managing money. But you imagine a 10-year-old with money. He will behave like
to
a
like
CEO of
Talia.
himself. Yeah, I mean,
Mm.
you'll boast around, he will throw it around, you not know how to spend it, you'll just probably consume the whole of it without knowing that actually you need probably to save. And what comes clear is that when you have money at a very tender age without capacity or the wisdom to manage it, then your expenses grow faster than the money coming in, and before you know it, you have actually exhausted your money and you fall back to square one. So
So
the lesson I
it's
got, yes,
mm-hmm.
the lesson I got is
it's
that
a, it,
whereas money is a powerful tool, but money in undisciplined hands can be very dangerous. And we have several cases to quote on this. If you don't need to look far, you look in the village there, you see people who got money in the 70s, by 80, late 80s, 90s, the money was gone because they didn't know how to manage it.
so if you make money, you need a sense of discipline overall. For example, if you make money now, it's the discipline to save, invest, how to use it responsibly, and not just buy a new car or buy new clothes the second that you get your first paycheck. So the discipline point is important, is what you're trying to say.
Yes, and maybe just to put it this way, that without discipline, money doesn't build you. If you are not disciplined, then actually money amplifies your negative side of it. Discipline is key in the sense that it gives you the calmness around money. You have seen people when they touch money, they become hyperactive. People they become arrogant. People they overshoom, and that's not good for posterity. But the people who have the discipline around money, you hardly know that actually they are carrying 1 million shillings in their pocket, right? Because they know how to manage it. They know that it takes the process that it takes to earn it, and they know that they must protect it for the long term. They must invest it for the long term. So that's the discipline. That's the mindset they have when you get money, when you have that maturity or that education and that know-how.
To be honest, there's a slight confession I'd want to also give. I think it was the first time I went to Budo. So this is me going to secondary school. I was given pocket money. I was given food. I was given all this. I'm now in a boarding school. I went to home. I remember calling home like 2, 3 weeks later. I didn't call you because I knew you wouldn't send anything. So I had to call mommy, to ask her for money. So I lacked the discipline. I'm a clear example as well of the necessity for discipline.
Yeah, I mean, I
But
encourage parents connected on the call. I know even some visionaries you are having, the families you are raising. Please ensure that you instill discipline in the children so that they can be able to manage the money when eventually it comes. If you throw around lots of money to these youngsters, they will first of all squander it. It will instead amplify their egos, right? And before
yes.
you know it, they are lost. They become indisciplined. They can be thrown out of school. They can lose interest in education because they don't have anything that is driving them anyway. Yes.
So discipline, you talked about discipline, the values that you had at that time. So there's a clear difference between you, how you viewed yourself, okay, and the other boys who studied the sugarcane business. So how how did this contrast of sort between you and the other boys shape your understanding of life choices, the decisions that you made? This difference between you two, what did you understand from that? What are the life choices you understood from that?
Um, First of all, I think the role of the parent is very critical. In this case, mommy act like a regulator, a person or an entity in the modern in the corporate world, the one who really sets the rules and enforces those rules. So mommy did that. For the parents of those who continue in the trade, they missed that step. And when they lost that step, what happened is that probably they were happy with the young people bringing money and probably they lived a better life at that moment. But the long term aspect of it was lost. That they were taken up in the moment and they were comfortable with those small, we call them the comfort zone with small plans, small enterprises, and they forgot about the strategic, the long term vision. So what I learned from that contrast is that education is the foundation. That whereas it's not at that time it wasn't so attractive to be in school, but those who persevered really created a strong foundation. Remember, there's this story in the Bible about building on sand and rock, right? The one who built on sand, when the storm came, he had no house. The one who took time and built on a rock, which in this case I'm interpreting the rock being the education, it withered the weather and the house stood. So for us who stayed in school, we were able to gain that strong foundation, and here we are. We are still strong and growing stronger every day.
So this is sort of like a delayed gratification, in the sense that you are now being rewarded for staying in school with your current life that you have, that you can also share with your children. I'm enjoying it personally as well. Thank you for staying in school, and thank you for the advice that was given to you. And I believe all the members of the visionaries, if your parents didn't stay in school, if they didn't try and develop themselves, we wouldn't be having a call like this, or we wouldn't be having a podcast or anything. So they stayed in school, they built their careers, and we now have, this is a luxury. Most families don't have Zoom calls or whatever. So we have to give an applause to your parents. They've done quite a lot. They listened to their parents at the time. So hopefully we can also listen to our parents, even though sometimes they can say something we don't exactly align with, but they have this experience. They are providing for us, and we should be grateful. So if you don't mind me asking, okay, this may be a bit of a tricky question. Okay, you're in this position because of your education, because of the life choices that you made. But it's not just reading books, is it? So what did education give you beyond certificates? Your PLE, your senior 4, your university diploma. What did it give you other than that, just that piece of paper at the end of the day?
Trevor. Yes, I mean, again, education is not about only getting the certificates. That's just part of the game. Education is wider. The education that people tend to understand most is the one of going to school, sitting in a classroom. But the education goes beyond the lectures in school and getting the graduation to learning. Learning doesn't stop. Learning continues up to the time you really depart out of this world. So, what does the education do if you acquire it? Education gives you a way of thinking, and I like your revelation here. I mean, if we did not go to school, or if we are not educated, I don't think we'll be thinking about a podcast of this nature. And in any case, this is part of the learning, right? We expect the visionaries, we expect some of the parents connected here to be picking some lessons here that they can replicate and shape our destinies in our respective homes. So, education gives you ability to adapt. Education gives you, and also the confidence to speak, to engage the world. I would imagine, again, I'm sure we are going to open up the lines for people to call in or to raise questions. And those who are confident are those who are educated, and they will be able to engage and be able to voice and share their perspectives. But beyond that, in the workplace, if you are going for a job or you're looking for a job now, you should be able to be interviewed, and that confidence comes from the background you have gained through the education. Now, education, the sources of education are wider, right from the parents to the schools, to the podcasts, to the YouTube channels, to the interactions with the friends and family. All those are sources of educational material. So let's use our time well. Let's continuously sharpen ourselves by yearning for education. Expand your world so that you are able to fight. This world is about struggle. And if you are not exposed, then the world becomes smaller. I mean, we were young at age 10, we were not exposed, so our definition of success, all the dreams we were having were very, very tiny dreams. I mean, the coins in the pocket was a goal. But once you get exposure and get the necessary thinking capabilities, then your world becomes bigger and you become more impactful to society.
So, in of sorts, you kind of succeed in life. But succeed
Sure.
is a very broad term, isn't it? To succeed, it could be I succeeded in waking up, I succeeded in having this podcast of sorts. But what does real success mean to you with the experience you have? What do you consider succeeding in life?
Many things. Many things.
These are the questions that we want to know.
In my, and this is my perspective, success is about being able to make a positive impact, whether within the family or broader in your country, or actually on the continent. Can you make your contribution, right? So having a positive impact is one of the aspects that I can call success. The other one is supporting families and communities, or creating sustainable streams of income. I mean, not bourgeoisie scenarios, but if I'm able to uh, take care of myself and my family, and I'm able to support the people I care for, then that is success, right? The other aspect is if I'm able to, let's say, mentor or encourage others to improve themselves. Remember, in ZASS, we are talking about mentorship schemes, circles. If I'm able to contribute to such programs, I think I would consider myself as successful because I'm helping a life to live better tomorrow. So success is beyond money. That's what I'm trying to underline. Success is about leaving a legacy of values behind, so that people can ask, they shouldn't say that you lived a life, you were a rich man, but I think they should be able to say you lived a good life and you left XYZ behind. You touched people's lives and they remember you for your good deeds. That would be success.
So in essence, it's sort of like a legacy. You want to leave something behind. So it's a legacy, if you was to give a summary to it. It's your legacy at the end that would be determining your success. Is that what I'm gathering?
I think you have summed it well. That's the word which alluded me. And we are saying in ZASS we should try to build a good legacy, and I think we are on the right path.
Would you consider ZASS to be your? Because I'm in the visionaries, ZASS visionaries. Okay, you're part of the executive committees. It's now, if you don't mind, as an executive, and the other members here as well who are part of this executive committee, not visionaries, because we are young. But what exactly is ZASS? What kind of generation is ZASS trying to build? Because ZASS is a broad word. You have foundation, you have investment fund, you have visionaries. What, if you don't mind me asking, what exactly are we trying to build here?
Is that question to me or it is to the ZASS executive?
This is to a ZASS executive, because this year now chairman, sir. So what are we doing? What?
I'm here as a guest, so. But yes, I mean, again, I would request the ZASS executive members present. You have had a question. I can give it a first shot. For sure, we are aiming at raising successful individuals, but not only that. My understanding is that we are nurturing a generation of grounded people with purpose, people who have a legacy-minded mindset, okay, legacy-minded outlook, and I mean, a generation that understands where it comes from. So it's just a commitment that, look, we, the founder members, benefited from our mamas. We are able to speak English. We are able to look after our families. We are able to be impactful to some level in the community we live in. The challenge is our offsprings, the visionaries now. Are they also following the same footsteps? Are they able to achieve even much bigger things? So ZASS Foundation should be able to guide and steer all of us in that direction of success, being, as you're using a word, leaving a legacy behind as we move in this world. But I would request the executive members, whoever would like to supplement my response, please, this is probably the time. With your permission, sir.
The permission granted, sir. So do we have any members amongst our listeners who want to pose a question or want to share their thoughts?
Yes, moderator. I just wanted to add a small point on that issue. I was feeling, as Sam was saying, and you put it properly, that success is leaving a legacy. Sam was saying the mamas have set a legacy or have left a legacy for us. Now, ZASS, to my mind, is to influence the visionaries in such a way that individuals within ZASS can leave a legacy, and as well as collectively as ZASS.
So then, if you don't mind me asking then, if the point of ZASS is to leave behind a legacy, as you've said, then is there more to the ZASS visionaries? Because technically speaking, we are the next generation.
Our real generations to more like be able to carry out that legacy and improve on it so that it grows more. Actually, it is what the Jews call generational wealth. Wealth not being money. It's all aspects of life, including education. That is what Sam was laboring about, including communal or social welfare, including all other aspects, making sure that they are better than where they found us. I think that is basically what it is, but we break it into small activities.
So the goal of it is to grow, as you stated as well, right?
Yeah.
The point of ZASS and the ZASS visionary is that next generation, and we expand it, because everything, you can't stay stagnant in life. I don't think anything can stay stagnant in life. We kind of have to grow, develop, learn from our mistakes, and keep moving forward, leave behind a legacy for the next generation, and they do the same. The cycle continues. Nothing is ever stagnant. That's a key point, isn't it? Is there more to it?
Yeah, I mean, I think we are saying, look, you need to dream big, you need to dream bold, you need to learn continuously if you are to achieve that vision that Mama has articulated. you need to live with integrity, you need to learn how to serve others, and to ground it, I think you need to think generational. So it's a process, and none of us probably has mastered all that or has achieved all that. It's a journey. Life is a journey. So every day we need to learn, we need to practice, we need to put it into action so that aggregatively ZASS and its members will be at a level where we achieve the legacy we all yearn to have. The one that we inherited was probably a small outfit. Now we need to grow that to a reasonable size, which we shall hand over to the visionaries, and the visionaries will have the task to also grow it and hand it over to your children and your children to your children. So you can see it's a building block, and we expect that all of us, if we actively commit to that goal, we will reach somewhere by 2050.
2050. Okay. I hope the visionaries here have heard. We're not just here for fun or whatever. We're the legacy that these executive members are leaving behind. We can't exactly stay stagnant as well, as you've touched, grow. And I hope this podcast can essentially shed light on the few traits that you need: the discipline, timing, education, the point of visionaries as a whole as well. I hope the members of Visionaries can understand that. And I hope this was a good podcast that everyone can grow from. Handing over to our Mrs. Kate Wonder.
Not Mrs. Miss.
Not Mrs.
Thank you so much. I think everyone has enjoyed this really powerful and inspiring talk. So I want to open up to everyone else. If you do have any questions, please feel free, or any comment that you want to raise, feel free, please, to raise your hand, or you could just jump right in. Anyone? Yes, Sheila.
Thank you so much. I must say the session has been very informative. I just have a question. One question to the host, no, to the guest. What is that one thing you would tell a young visionary that has attained the bare minimum, I mean the education, to be able to stand out and probably say I'm successful? Thank you.
Wow.
This is a question for you, Mr. Sako.
You have attained an education, and you want me to point out what is it that that would show that you are successful. Is that the question? First of all, the education is
maybe to just re-echo.
Yes.
The question is, what is that one thing you did differently apart from education, the bare minimum, that would help a young visionary be able to stand out and probably say I'm successful?
I think the one thing that I've done myself is, I think, having the discipline. Discipline is the bedrock of many things that you do in life. We have already seen that if you don't have the discipline, money cannot be managed. Now, when I talk about discipline, what do I mean? If you earn, but at the same time you are spending almost the same amount in expenses, then you are not growing. The experts say that you should aim at increasing the gap between your earnings and your expenses. And you can increase that gap by doing two things: by increasing the earnings, but also decreasing your expenditures. How do you decrease your expenditures? By being disciplined. Avoid unnecessary expenses which are more like showing off, but incur expenses that are essential, that are a must. You must eat, you must sleep, you must feed. You must keep in good health. But if you are now going to buy designer shoes just to show off that you are successful, you are losing the point. You are not being disciplined with your money. If you are going to run into trouble because you are trampling over everybody's, because you got a check of 2 million, then you end up losing it. So please, the one thing that you need to acquire is discipline. Once you have discipline, the next thing is to master how to manage money. Let money not manage you, you need to manage the money. And the third one, which ties it up all, is learn how to invest. You must invest. There's no one thing that you do that will be able to solve all your problems. It's a question of having multiple sources of revenue, of cash flow, that then can be used to sort your lifestyle. And if you have put a handle on your lifestyle, keeping it to the minimum acceptable, then life will be much better and you will leave a good legacy behind. So that's what it's a long answer, but all these things are all linked, and maybe it might be so hard to point at one single thing, but the starting point is the discipline.
Thank you. Any other questions or comments?
Hello.
Yes.
I wanted to
Please
add
go ahead.
to that one, the discipline issue. There is a saying that if you are young, you need to know the areas where you spend your money. And these areas can be learned if the parents who are now visionaries are able to know how to utilize the money. And I was just looking at, I normally look at the people who are like what we people call successful in terms of wealth. And these people, they start early educating their children. And what they educate is that they know that every dollar or every shilling in Uganda should have a purpose. So if you have 100% of money in your hand, you should be able to have that discipline to say a certain percentage is for necessities, a certain percentage for savings, another for investment, and another for donations. That alone, if it is taught to a small girl who is getting some kind of little coins from the parent, he or she can grow up knowing the discipline of handling or managing money. So possibly that is one thing which we should know from the financial education, how to handle or how to put a purpose to each dollar or each shilling we have. That will teach us some discipline.
Thank you so much, Mama. Thank you for the wisdom. Yeah.
Yes, Trevor.
Let me ask you. It's a simple question, okay? But touching on this, someone has sent me a question, and as a moderator, I have to voice it as well. But touching on what Kuhudaina has said and what Daddy has said, money should have a purpose. Every amount that you have should have a purpose, correct? But there's a slight issue that I want to raise. Is that as people, we crave for a few luxuries. You want something, if you have the means, you try and achieve it. You try and buy it. Say it's not really a necessity, but you just want it. It's like something that you just want to have. So is there a certain balance between the two that you would like to tell people about? Or you shouldn't have any essentially desire? This is a question to you, Mrs. Amsalkon.
Trevor, you are putting him on the spot. I think, first of all, let me say this, that the luxuries, the moment you acquire them, they depreciate by 40% instantly. And this is proven. Let's say you have a handset, iPhone 10, and then, what's the latest now? Is it 15? And then
I think it's now 17.
17.
I'm out of date, 17. And then you are saying, okay, iPhone 18 is out, I'm buying it. Then before you know it, they have already channeled out iPhone 19. And if your mindset is all about acquiring the latest phone as luxury, then you will end up spending your money on luxuries because they're expensive. They are priced high. Luxuries are priced high, and they are trendy. All right? So that's just a question that ask yourself, do I have to? Do I have to? I know I've fought with many of my people in my homestead on changing handsets. Me, unless the phone is malfunctioning, okay, or it is destroyed or my screen is shattered, I will not change the handset if it is giving me the functions I need. I don't have to go with the trends. So what is this that is driving you to have the craving for luxuries? You may have one or two items. Okay. Let's assume you don't have many. But again, keeping track of those luxuries, if there are many, they're expensive. But it does no harm, again, if you can afford, and if you have allocated your resources properly and you have a budget for luxuries, I think you can live the life you want and you can allocate and buy. But what are the proportions of your income allocated to your upkeep, your community work, your investments, and then your luxuries? You need to watch those numbers so that you don't, again, lean more on luxuries to the detriment of the core areas that you need to put your money in.
I'd like to throw this in there. What you say that there should be somewhat of a balance. You budget it in to a degree. You don't just go full on into luxuries. Because this is a different generation that I think most of the visionaries kind of would agree with. Is that people want that sort of driving force. They want to see that shiny medal at the end. They want to achieve. So a luxury is sort of like a dream. It's sort of like a goal. You want to get that, so you work towards it. It drives you of sorts. But then you say that you budget it in. So is that correct? You have to have a balance. Because relatively speaking, our generation needs those sorts of goals at the end. You have that, maybe a brand new car, a house, but you have to balance it. That's the main thing that you want to share, is it?
That's the main thing, and you plan for it. You save towards it. It shouldn't be a must-have, and everything stops just because you want to acquire luxury.
Okay, I think I saw Uncle Patrick with his hand up. If he still has something to say.
Yes, Kate, do I have your permission?
Yes, please go ahead.
Mine will be brief. First of all, to appreciate the selection of our various, should I call them dignitaries. We've got Kate as a host, awesome. Trevor, moderator. Kevin, producer. And us, the guests. And as always, Mamadi is not missing in action. Call it anything, podcast, whatever. So thank you so much. I would like to summarize a few points from what Uncle Sam has said. If you allow me, based on my education background, I'll just quickly summarize. I think I got about 7 points. I must have missed out some. Sam has emphasized the value education beyond certificates. I don't need to give details. Education is not only about passing exams or collecting qualifications. I'm sure you heard the rest. Number 2, listen to your parents and elders. When you may not fully agree, whether you may not fully agree with them, remember they have experience and have sacrificed to provide opportunities for you. Their guidance is a valuable resource for your growth. That was number 2. Number 3, keep learning beyond the classroom. I think Sam captured it very well. Learning does not stop at school. Read widely, listen to podcasts, engage in meaningful discussions, and learn from people and experiences around you. Exposure expands your world and your dreams. I liked it when Sam was citing what would resonate well with the youngsters. He did talk about all those networks as a way of building your capital. So I think he rightfully explained, although of course that's his education, but he broke it down and simplified for all of us to relate. So thank you so much, Sam. Number 4, be confident and prepared for opportunities. So he said that education equips you to speak, engage, and present yourself confidently in interviews, workplaces, and society. He's a clear example of that. Use it to express your ideas and contribute meaningfully. Number 5, he helps us to define success beyond money. I think true success, in his words, is not only about wealth, it's about the impact you make, the values you uphold, and the legacy you leave behind through your actions and character. I must confess that this is not textbook philosophy. I will give 100% recognition that this is Sam's craft. And if he was honest, he can give examples. And I'm happy that Sam is not just talking in abstract terms, but all this is, he can easily reference this. So thank you so much, Sam. Number 5 on my note says, number 6, I think, build a purposeful and grounded life. I think the last point we had about the cell phone luxuries, etc. But strive to become individuals with strong values, a sense of purpose, and a desire to uplift others. Aim to live a life that touches people positively and leaves lasting good in your community. That was number 6 on my note. 7, I'm happy that Sam cautioned us that we need to get a notebook, which I did. Think legacy. Ask yourself, what will people remember me for? Let your education, character, and actions help you build a life of meaningful and lasting contribution. So in short, use education to grow your mind, respect those who guide you, stay curious, live with purpose, and build a legacy of positive impact. So from my point where I'm standing, I think that is how I would summarize Sam's contribution to this podcast. I'm very happy that the target audience, clearly from Sam's point of view, is not us. It is the youngsters. So for us, time is up. So, Sam, thank you so much. And this sounded to me like it was the fifth podcast. And let's also praise Kevin, the producer, from the background. I think he's done an excellent job putting this together. Can we give him a round of applause? I'm not in any way, moderator, moving a vote of thanks, but those are my thoughts. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Uncle Patrick. I don't know if there's anyone else who has anything else to say. The podcast has ended. You may leave at leisure, I think.
I thought Kevin, you want to take a shot for our newsletter?
Oh, yes. Please, everyone, if you can.
I've asked our unit trust managers to see if we can schedule a talk. So once they give us a date and time, I'll communicate accordingly.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.
I see some people don't have their cameras on. I don't know. If
One
they
day
could. Just.
Okay. Bye.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
See you later. Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Good evening.
Bye-bye. Good evening.
Bye.
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 Welcome.